विबुधासुरसौख्यदुःखसत्कारणाय विदताय नमो नमस्ते यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुविदत्ववातं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपातकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। माण्डुक्य उपनिषदः शान्तिपाठः। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाशमिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति न क्षार्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Friends, we have seen the Upanishad part of it up to mantra number 7. Now we are seeing the Karika portion, which is an explanation of mantra number 7, which is from page 41 of your Karika in the document I have sent. It is from the page 41. Same mantra number 7. First they have given Upanishad. The Karika they have given it separately later. The mantra number 7's explanation starts from page 41 of the Karika, which we have covered. Couple of mantras we have covered last week. Now this week, we will be going through that, and we will also be having a recap of mantra number 7, what we have seen and how the Karika verses are going to be explanatory to the whole of this particular mantra number 7, which has explained to us the great concept of Turiya. So in this Turiya, what we have seen so far, because we have seen Turiya is beyond all the three stages which we have come through, where we had the Jagrata Sthana, Swapna Sthana and Shushupta Sthana, and it is not all the three. And the last one which we have come to Turiya is the one which we have explained how it is not so many other things. Nanta Pragyaha, na Bahi Pragyaha, no Ubhayata Pragyaha, na Pragyana Ganam, na Pragyam, na Pragyam, Adrishtam, Avyavaharyam, Agrahyam, Alakshanam, Achintyam, Avyopadeshyam, Ekatmiya Pratyayasharam, Prapanchopasamam, Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtam, Manyante, Sa Atma, Sa Vigneyaha. This is what mantra number 7 we have seen. That is what is going to be explained. The Karika which is being considered by Srimad Madhvacharya as the Brahma Drishta. As Chaturmukha Brahma, when he was discussing with the Mandukya Rishi, when we were discussing, he was trying to give from his drishti what are all the explanation for this particular mantra. This is how Sri Madhvacharya has considered, and even though it is a Gaudapata Karika, it is called Agama Prakarana. Agama Prakarana in the sense which is already existing. Agama is what is existing earlier. So he also, it has been explained, what Gaudapada had was that already existing explanation, which is nothing but Chaturmukha Brahma's Brahmadrishti explanation during his discussion with the Mandukya Maharishi. So that's how we have seen some of the drishtis for first 6 mantras earlier. Karika also we have seen. 41 onwards we are going to see these particular mantras and all. In the Prapanchopashamam, when we have said, what is this Prapanchopashamam, we have said, and we have also seen how it is not going to be body, mind and intellect, and it's not going to be anything. And we will have to go by meditation and going, beyond, our bodily existence, body, mind and intellect, and then we should try to find, we have done, the Om, Omkara, when we were doing the meditation, how we will be able to get through. Because even in this life, in the way we are living, still we will be able to know what is that Turiya. this is what we have explained and we have gone about. It's not that Turiya cannot be so unknown with this body, mind, and intellect. It can be, but with a lot of efforts. In that only, we also said how yoga looks into the entire process of realizing ourselves. And when we said Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, we also saw all those things. With these things, Upadeshyam, with all these things, we will be able to realize punya, punya, when taking everything together and all. Finally, when we have nothing, nothing attached to us, we are into a blissful state. Then we will be able to realize. The one simple explanation, understandable, given to us in this Karika, I think we will also be seeing this. The first mantra we saw, Nivrte Sarva Dukkhanam. This is the page number 41, Karika verse. Explanation of mantra number 7 of Upanishad. It said, Nivrte Sarva Dukkhanam Ishana Prabhavavyeha. This is the first mantra, first sentence of the mantra said. Nivrte Sarva Dukkhanam, there is no dukkha, nothing is whatsoever is available. That is available to us in normal life when we are having a deep sleep. When we are not having any awareness of our own consciousness, see, everything is going by the subconscious, the auto mode when it is running. Only you have got the breath, prana is keeping you alive, but you are having a blissful sleep. And you lose your identity also. You are not, in your relationship with any of your children or wife or relation, nothing is there. You get that bliss. That is one indication of how Turiya can be. Because only thing what is happening is at the time nescience, we don't have any knowledge of anything. Because knowing something is only the cause of all sort of desires, continuous activity in this world. When you don't know anything, I think that keeps you going only during that period of deep sleep. Once you come out of it, again the Jagrata Sthana comes, takes over, and then your Swapna Sthana is there. Again you come to the deep sleep. There is the continuous cycle which we are doing right from the day of our birth. We have come out of the womb of our mother till date. This is what is happening, but this is happening in a different way. In a small child, when it is up to his 4th year, because it will know only to take food, sleep, play, and whatever it doesn't have anything. As we go on carrying the luggages to be practical in this world and live in this world, as we go, we acquire different sort of desires, different sort of aspirations, and we go about it. That is required for human growth. But in that process, how we are trying to become a better version of ourselves. See, because what happens is, every day when you look at every year in our school also, what we had, our sort of attitude, our own approach when we are in 6th standard will be very different when we are in 7th or 8th standard. Maybe when you're in 9th standard, you will be more matured. Your outlook will be more matured. A 6th standard student comes and talks to you, you will not be interested in talking to him because your dimension has grown. You are in a different dimension. So taking us into a different dimension continuously, finally, when we go up to the ultimate possible dimension of this human life is Turiya. So this is exactly what they are trying to tell. And in the Turiya, we have seen, Jagrata Sthana, we also said, because he is Vishwanara, he gives us, enables us to get all the experiences and grow ourselves. So that, because once the desires are fulfilled, you are trying to reduce the number of desires, because once you have a desire and once it is fulfilled, you no longer, aspiring for, because when you are in a, when you are a teens, you may be interested in, having new pants and new shirts and all. And maybe, your attitude will change, once you grow up to a different level. You may still have a desire of a different kind, not the same kind. But this will be something, much better, but your desires will come down, slowly you will try to reduce. You will not have the same desires. At that point of time, you will try to acquire everything, because your friends have acquired or you have known some people have acquired and you would also like to have. But once you grow and once you see, because you have got a family, so your self is being distributed, shared with your family. Your that is truly takes away, to your selflessness. You are not working for yourself. So only that, then I think, once you have a better attitude, you see the world, how, a lot of people need something or other, which we have and they don't have, how we in to our capacity and to our possibility, how we can do. You also try to participate in some of the activities, or at least try to contribute, at least try to associate with something and all, in whatever little way. Likewise, the self is being sharing yourself, so sharing your vision, sharing your thought, and sharing what you are having, that becomes slowly, because it goes off. And when that goes off, the prapanchopasamam, what we saw was, slowly when you lose, because prapancha, you have seen everything in the prapancha, what else is to be taken. I was also quoting a incident, where one, the sannyasi in the Himalayas, he exhausted entire 6 months quota of jaggery in one day, so that he will not have any desire for jaggery for the rest of the 5.5 months, and maybe for the entire life afterwards, he will give it up. Because that's how they are developing. What is that by developing something happens is, you are not, distracting yourself from the path, which has been given to you by the Almighty, to have the fantastic final bliss which you are capable of. Till such time we don't know, because the only thing we know is every day in the deep sleep we are having a sort of indication of that bliss. If the entire life, if you are going to have that bliss, how it is going to be, it is something to be imagined. You will not be able to express it. So that is why, because this is a stage when it is more to be sort of experienced than to be explained. That is why the mantra number 7, when he said it is not that, it is not that, and you can't grasp it, you can't be told of it, you can't get educated, and he is beyond everything and all. When we said in all those things, basically what happens, Paramatman is there and Jivatmas we are there. The conceptually in Advaita says one Paramatma and multitudinal Jivatma. Same Paramatma has manifested as different Jivatma. In other Vaishnava Sampradaya, because like Visishta Advaita says, because you may be a multitudinal, but you are not the same. But by doing that, finally, when you do the service to the God and His creations, when you are doing thus to His creations, and then you try to become, once you get that, you become something like equal to the godliness when you get. Whereas in Dvaita, when it came, you said you will have to do the karma and you will have to do the service to anyone who is in front of you. Don't bother who is he, which caste, which creed, nothing, because this is what it says. But, are we practicing, because how it is being practiced is different. Pejawar, this Matadesha, who was the great soul who is not with us now, he tried to bring about that concept, what Nana Janascha Shushru Karmaha, which Madhvacharya said. He tried to bring it, because people thought, he's doing it for his popularity or his headline capturing and all, because that is how it is. Because anything you are not used to, you think someone else is doing for some other purpose. Basically, we are all purposive animals. We think everyone will do it with a purpose. But when you don't have a purpose, prapanchopasamam is when you don't have any purpose whatsoever, that happens and all. So what happens is, when you have that particular type of thing, then what happens, because then whatever you do, whatever you desire, it is also, because not for you slowly, because you get used to that, you are trying to give up and for the cause of others. But though you may be doing, in the living in this world, that is the greatest life possible. So that's what, everyone is trying to do, which there's a concept of Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is when you are alive in this body itself, when you are able to have as less desires as possible and be involving yourself, into whatever, the activity that come across, and, you are just doing it, because there is no purpose behind that. And there is no, you are not designing for anything, because you are doing it because you have to do it. That's all. It is in front of you. Nothing more than that. And you have been ordained to do it, you are doing it. After all, you are looking for some elderly parents or some elderly relatives, because you have to look after, because like, your predecessors have looked after, you are also following the trend, nothing different about it. Maybe in that process, you will also have to face challenges, and challenges, how you are facing it, with equanimity. That is what, the Turiya gives. So you will not be agitated. Not getting agitated is possibly, you can call it Turiya in the way, we are living. This is what has been Nivurte Sarva Dukkhanam. This is what the first mantra we have seen briefly. He said, once you are not getting agitated and you don't have any complaint, you don't have any void in yourself. That is called the Turiya. It is more to be experienced than to be explained by any words. Nivurte Sarva Dukkhanam Ishana Prabhu Avyayaha. Isha is the one who has got into the stage of mukti. So who have gone to the stage of mukti in the sense, you don't have any desire, in the sense you are doing everything, whatever is required and all. You don't have any purpose. You don't have any sort of you don't want to have any result out of that, for you. You are doing it. Whatever result that comes, you are not bothered about it. Karmanyeva adhikarasto, what Gita says, don't think about the pala or what is the result of it. You go about doing it. That is what, that stage, that is Turiya. In the life, when he has said, he has given the greatest concept at that point of time, so that your goal could be towards that. That is what it happens. So therefore, you will all be doing, even whatever you are be doing with the purpose of so many other people, including yourself. It is not that you will not be neglecting yourself. You will be doing it. That is called the Isha, that one who are in the process of getting, the closer to the Mukti, or who has reached the Mukti. Anaha, Ishanaha, the one who is looking after all this Isha. And that is the Paramatma. Once you are Ishanaha, in the sense, once you get into the Turiya, you will be able to see, what is the godliness itself, because you don't have any desire, bodily desires, you don't have any bodily purposes, you don't have any sort of a bodily results to be obtained. So that is the purpose when you are doing, that is more to be experienced. So there are certain examples, that has been given. So we might be knowing, in Mahabharata, there was one occasion when there was one rishi who came to the house, and Panchali didn't have any food in the house. That's an empty vessel. I think it was Durvasa who came. Durvasa is supposed to be an Amsha of Shiva, because Rudra Amsha, because he's always, he's Ugragati. He comes and he wants something, otherwise he immediately, gives his shapa and all. One thing we have to understand, the shapa is not a curse whenever he gives, because he doesn't have any dvesha involved. So there is a concept in all our scriptures, shapasya kopasya anugrahat. So when they give it, they know, you have to get something of you are destined to be on a higher level of dimension when you are going to realize that. At that point of time, the rishis give you some way of life which may appear to us. That is Dvaita. For us, he has given a shapa. Why did he give a shapa? Why? Is he a rishi? Can he give a shapa? And all, all these things we might discuss. But there is a purpose behind that. Because when he came and he asked for a food, he knows, pretty well, because they are in a forest and they are in Ajnatavasa, he comes there and asks for a food. What she has to do? She did have only one small grain of rice, and she prayed to whom? The ultimate Krishna, Lord Krishna. The Lord Krishna, when she just prayed to him, and I think basically she was able to give the food, and he was able to satisfy. That's what the Mahabharata says. The concept is, once that one grain, when the Paramatma just took it, the entire universe, what we call, because the Virat Swarupa, Viswarupa, the whole world was rather feeling fulfilled. They didn't have any hunger. So because he is the Virat Swarupa, Viswarupa, when he is taking all the beings, they all get their hunger fulfilled. Not only Durvasa, the entire, because that is what it comes. Once, that is why we are able to connect to the rather higher dimension. You are able to get in touch with the cosmic dimension. See, when you desire something, it becomes the cosmos knows what you are desire for. When the cosmic desire, when cosmos knows your desire is so genuine and so much, and you will see wherever the obstacles are there, your obstacle will vanish. how cosmic is able to give you is when you are able to give with such a pure heart. Panchali didn't want to satisfy, the hunger of her husband or, the someone people close by, and the Rishi has come, he has to be given because that is the dharma. She wanted to comply with it. And he knows the predicament. Once she said, and he got it done. This is the same thing, there is so many stories are there. Like these gopis, they were searching for Krishna, and they were so much, because they are totally devotion, because it is a sort of a love beyond the limits. It is not the lust. It is the love beyond the limits. They were asking, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? They were asking all the plants. They were all the trees. See, they were asking all the birds and all inanimate, insentient things. They were going about, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And they were not able to get in. When after going out, this is one small instance comes in Bhagavata and all. So when they couldn't see anywhere and all, they all lost themselves, and only Krishna was in their mind, nothing else was in their mind. All of them were swooned, and and then they were able to get Krishna. Because once you lose yourself, once you totally be, sort of out of your own consciousness, once you get beyond that, and you have only him, that is ekatmya pratyaya charam, what we discussed is only that. Like gopis, you just go on saying, that is the why, the famous song, which we were quoting and all, kaun कहता है भगवान आता नहीं है, तो आते नहीं है, because आप मीरा की जैसे बुलाते नहीं है. She had only one that in mind. Like this gopis, that is what that comes only in the Turiya stage. If at all Turiya has to be explained, that is the only stage. So there you will have to get that. So with this, these two examples, they were trying to tell, this is the Turiya. Other than that, you can't explain anything else to get into that. And what happens, in all other sthana, Jagrata sthana, Sushupta, Swapna sthana and Sushupta sthana, we do have cause and effect. Karana Karya Baddhu. Because the next verse will tell us, both are there. There is a cause. The cause is, you have a desire to be fulfilled, because you've got a job to be done. You are in a world, you've got your own vocation or your own sort of duties to be done. So then for that, he helps you. He helps you to, in this world, at that point of time, you have one avidya, you think you are doing everything yourself, and because getting it done by you, and you have the skill, and you are responsible for all the results. Because at that point of time, we don't have any feeling. The entire body is given by him. He is getting is done by us. As because in the Pratakala Gadya, because with Raghavendra Swami, he was a Karta and he is getting it done by you. So that consciousness doesn't come to us because we are totally involved into that. But there is no harm in that. When you are doing, you have to do it, skillfully and to the best of your ability. And you will have to bring all the potential to bring it to excel in that. What you have to do, you do that. But at that point of time, when you are trying to excel totally into that, you are forgetting yourself. When you are constantly working in a total concentration, you will not be thinking, I am doing it and I will have to do, because I should see, that nothing else happens. Supposing, you are trying to construct a house also, you will see, because whether all the design is good, because all the material is good, you got all the people, who are very skilled, doing the things. We have got the equipments, and when you have all those things, you see that, because that, what is that? At that point of time, you think, you are constructing a house, you are going to live in it. That you will see, only when construction is over and what else to be done. But during that process, when you are fully concentrating, that is something like a Turiya, because you are forgetting yourself. That skill. This is exactly in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, I am coming there as a skill. Whatever be the skill. And if you are having a Sattvika, because all the skills will be there. The Rajasika, the skill will be of that. Tamasika, because even a murderer also need to have a skill of doing what he wants to do. He says, I am also coming on the skill, because he is not responsible, because you have got a vasanas, you want to do it. You have to get the skill. The skill finally comes. Who gives that skill? He gives the skill. But the result is yours, because you only desire, you want to have it. Whether good or bad or anything, yours, because you can't make it. That is why very often, one question repeatedly will be coming. If he is getting it done, he is doing it. Why the hell I should suffer? I am only, okay, no, everyone says I am an agent, I am only an instrument, he is doing it and all. Because supposing, you have some, nowadays the lot of planets are moving here and there. A lot of Peyarchis you will be seeing nowadays, Guru Peyarchi, Silvaya Peyarchi, this Peyarchi. And all the astrologers will be telling, because there is no need to believe any of the astrology once you have a spiritual thinking in your core. This is exactly what the scriptures say, even the Mahans have said, even the Acharyas have said. But the world we are living in, where we have to not only, because our own thoughts and wishes are there, we have to fulfill others' wishes also. So at that point of time, someone says you do this. If not anything else, and you do, the Satyanarayan Puja for good, something like that. When you do it, if you are capable, you will be doing it. Otherwise, what you will do? You will call one Guruji, Acharyaji, one Pantulu, what we call in Andhra, and he will come and do the puja for you and all. And all that you will give him is, Brahmana Dakshina, you will give it to him and he takes it and goes off. But the phala comes to whom? To you. Likewise, when it is getting it done, he is like, you want to get it done, he does like that Acharya. As you are trying to do the Satyanarayan Puja, he does it, he gives you all the skills and he gets it done for you. And he goes with, because you desired it, he gets it done and goes off. The phala comes to you. Therefore, we cannot be thinking, he is getting it done, and because why it happens for us to do that, because basically it's our vasanas. And not only that, the attitude which we have developed during this current birth also, it comes. So then, the question repeatedly comes, because it was covered briefly in our earlier discussion, just for the purpose of eliminating the doubt which may be coming and all. Every time, you say, I have got a vasanas, I have got a karma. For anything you give, karma is an explanation. Why you are suffering, karma. Why the fellow has passed away so young, karma. Why the fellow is living so long, suffering himself, making others to suffer, that's also karma. If karma is going to be the answer for everything, that is why, people at some pejoratively use karma when you say, you are feeling this karma is, sort of taking your psyche, all around and you are feeling like it. That is why it comes, there are variety of explanation. In Advaita concept, the karma, yes, it is there. It is happening mainly because the karma is nothing but the creation itself is the process of your mind. The world, which you are seeing, when they say Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, when the Advaita says, the world is an appearance. Mithya in the sense it is not untrue. It is an appearance. But below that appearance, there is a substratum of the Brahman is there. The Brahman is not only the creation, he is responsible for the creation of the world, he himself is part of the creation. So in one Swamiji in Hindi was telling, it was more appropriately, it was said, वो बनाता है बनाता है बन भी जाता है. He also becomes the world. Whereas that is not, taken in our philosophy and Madhva Tattvavada philosophy and other philosophies and all. Because there is a different reasons. Madhvacharya has given variety of reasons and all. So therefore the karma happens once you see the world. It is the creation of your mind. When your mind creates based on, your vasanas. So naturally you go behind that and finally you get the karma. And the karma pala is there, you are going about it and all. The moment you realize whatever you are doing as a human being with the body, mind and intellect, till such time when you are doing with that consciousness, you are jiva. The moment you realize it is some other consciousness, which is behind the entire, the sort of the activities of the body, the enlivening power, and you are that, because that's what Advaita says. Once you realize, you become Paramatma. You almost become Mukta. Till such time, you are a Jiva, and then you become a Mukta. That is Turiya stage. But Vishtadvaita says, no, it's not, both are not same. You also have to, you are doing the karma. Why you are doing the karma? God first created you. You did it. In the first birth, In Kannada, you have to say motta modalu, the very first, or in Tamil, the very first birth. How this karma damping has been conceived and created. So when that came, so the Visishtadvaita goes and says, when the first birth, the God has given the freedom to do anything you want. So you did based on, you were the quality of the seed, nichocha bhavam gataha, what he said, you did it, and finally the karma started coming, that's how they gave the explanation. And it's then it is a cycle. You go about it and do it. And when it came to Tattvavada, the philosophy took ultimately a different turn, because Madhvacharya said, if the first birth he has given the freedom to you, why not all other births? It is not a conditional freedom. It's not like an equation where you put assumption. That assumption is there till such time the equation is proved. Afterwards, you take out the assumption, you can create another result. So it is not like that. It cannot be given. No one can be given freedom because he is Swatantra, we are all Paratantra. We are all dependent on him. We can't do that. What he said, there is an innate nature of the seeds. See, when you grow anything in the field, what you do, you only spread the seeds. You put, if you have got a mango grove, you put all the saplings of mangoes wherever you got it and put it. But each sapling is different. The mango's quality may be different. The mango fragrance may be different. Even the type of mango what you will be getting will also be different. It depends upon the sapling. The sapling has come from the seed. The seed is the most important thing. It has got the innate qualities. They are dormant, once the new kalpa is created, all these seeds, they will have to flourish and find their own natural growth. That is why it said in Mukti in our Tattvavada is Nichocha Bhavam Gataha. You have to realize what is the full potential you can do. And because in that process, what happens, you become almost selfless flow. And you get, the reset mode, what was your seed quality, you get the seed quality. At that point of time, you don't have any desires, wants, anything and all. This is exactly, each one of us have got our own seedling, because we have got a nature of our quality. That is how we will have to do it. So it comes the cycle after cycle, and that is how, the karma is created. And we are trying to do, because the karma is nothing but, what you have to do, the duty you will have to do. It is not only the karma, your karma yoga has got to be done, irrespective of the fact. Whether you like it or not, you can't procrastinate. You've got to do it. And as Jayatita has said, it is like quenching your thirst. Like you are quenching the thirst, you will have to do the karma. Whatever is ought to be done in front of you, you will have to do. Trishna Vichetava, he said, because we have discussed in Isavasya Upanishad, then he said, you have got to do. You cannot say, because why I should do it, because if I do it, I am going to get papa, punya, nothing, no. You got to do it in front of you, you have to do it, but you do without desireless. You have got to, your job to do it. Can you do it? You are in the first shift, or once you go to the organization, whatever job has been given to you, you have to perform. And that is what exactly the Madhvacharya said, because what is the tax you are paying having coming into this world? The having coming into the world is doing the duty. And Nana Janasya Sushrushu. Because whoever is in front of you, mitigating, his concerns, his wants, that is what is most important thing. That is the duty you are paying to him. Whether you call it income tax or GST or whatever it is, we are paying to the God for having brought us and giving that experience. This is what you have to do it. You should not desist from doing it. No question of desist from doing it. That is why Jayatita called Trishna Vichetavad. When you are feeling thirsty, you immediately take a cup of water and take it. When you are doing that, karma is like that. It is not that you will be going on finding out what it is and all. Because you know what is the karma to be doing. You are not going to do something which is not unwanted. Because your vasanas are there. You have developed yourself. Every day you are becoming a new version in Jagratasthana. You should not be doing it. Finally, when you are doing it, you will be an elevated soul. You will be realizing your potential, nature of your own Nichocha bhavam gataha, you come to flourish and flower into that. And finally, this is how the karma is. Because karma has been given different explanations. Because for whatever worldly happenings are there, it is being called karma. Not only we, even the Buddhists call it karma. They also got that karma. Though they don't accept the Veda as the one of the possible sources of knowledge, they also have the same thing and all. So the Turiya stage, what happens? When the Turiya stage, when everything comes, and when you are taking everywhere, it is all activities and chaos. Because Jagrata Sthana, you are in the activity of the world. Swapna Sthana, also the latent impressions of your mind. Sometimes you may be in a spacecraft, other day you will be going in a bullock cart, and some days you will be facing the problem, there is a flood, there will be a rain. Somewhere you will be in the most beautiful beach, everything will be the latent impressions which comes about. Everything is a chaos activity. It is a quantum world. All the quantum is a continuous movement, vibration. You are not only the particle, and you are also the vibration per se. So the entire thing goes off. When we are living in this only, in other concepts, like when you are trying to bring in, your mind to focus, when you are doing meditating, a lot of meditative techniques, the yoga techniques, when they come, what they say is when you are bringing into your mind, to a particular, since you are a quantum, you are also a part of quantum. Quantum is nothing but the smallest possible energy component that can be described by the scientifically in this world. So you can call it a sort of a photon, smallest component of a photon. There's no, you can't give a concept of atom to a photon. Photon is a vibration, vibrational energy. It is there and all. So then when we are seeing a person, we are seeing only the figure, but we don't know what is he thinking. What possibly, he is planning to do, and what are all his thoughts, which we don't know, we can't penetrate. In the Turiya stage, once you come, you will be able to get that particular thought. So you might have seen a lot of sort of experiences of Mahaparival, how he could tell, because even, yesterday also I got one small message where they said, a person has brought his daughter, who was about to deliver a baby and all. He wanted to name him, because how am I to name him, he said. Maybe, the Vigneswara, Subramanya, something like that. No, I think you name, as it is and all. Then also, because you name like that, because you will have to have, because if he has a brother, that also you will have to name, because therefore he gave a reason. You put Ganesha, and next you may be getting a Subramanya and all. She was in the family way. She has delivered a baby, and within few seconds she delivered the twin, the second child also. See, he could able to see, he has not done X-ray or anything like that. The Agya Chakra, it reveals to him, this is bound to happen, planned to happen. So he has given just as a sort of the sagely advice, you keep this name like that, you may be requiring the other name for that. If there is a twins, maybe you may be having a Rama, please have Lakshmana also in mind. Because, the twins are being named Ram, Lakshman, like that only it is like that. It comes, your Ajna Chakra gets activated when you are able to have the quantum, your photon in vibrational level and the cosmic vibration level are in symphony. Absolutely, that's they are able to achieve, and that for that only we are doing all the meditative techniques and all. So, but it is being used for when they say, when you have to get into meditation, you will have to have the breathing technique and all, and that's what they say. You will have to go through all the chakras, and finally, you reach the maximum possible, the focus. At that point of time, what happens is you are in sync with the cosmic energy, and you are supposed to be becoming nothing. You will not have any wants or anything like that and all. This is called by Buddhists as the clear light of the void. Void is, nothing. There is no space. Not even anything is there in all. Clear light of the void. In that, one light which is there, that is going to be lighting up the whole thing. In the Turiya stage, what happens is, it is like all the chaos, all the activities, they are not there. It is going to be a somnolent, sublime silence. It is the silence, the total silence, because, when you want to be at peaceful, when you want to be alone, solitude in a beach, And when you are fortunate enough, your mobile is not disturbing you, even the signal comes there and disturbs you, nothing. Assuming you are somewhere in Havelock, in Andaman, there is a beach called Havelock. In those days, it is supposed to be the most peaceful beach. I understand there also now the mobile signals are coming. There is no more place in without mobile signal. Everything comes because mobile will come. You will be looking into WhatsApp, Facebook, and as someone has described, nowadays modern day Ravana is, the Facebook, email, and Instagram, and all these things are the Ravanas. They take away your mind. Where is to focus? There is no Ekatmya Pratyaya Sharam, no Prapanchopasamam. The both are not going to be there. So you will have to work against that and come to that. It is a challenge that the world constantly poses you. And how to come out of this challenge only, we are trying to take the time, do some meditation and all. After all, it has the use. The instrument has got the, like a knife has got the use of cutting the vegetables. Your mobile also has got the use of getting the knowledge and doing the important things, getting it and all. But what happens is, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha, when we have said Kenopanishad, your mind takes you, let me see who has sent me the WhatsApp. And I have sent a WhatsApp, this fellow has not replied at all. I put it in Facebook, no like and other things, some what is that? You try to, overall, how it takes place, it is my creation. And WhatsApp also is not your creation. Someone has forwarded to you. Without nobody forwarding, WhatsApp will be dead. No one originally creates any message to be forwarded. See, everyone forwards whatever he gets it. So that goes into the chain. So if one day if you don't get any forwards or anything like that, you will not be forwarding to anyone. That is the day, when you will not be working on WhatsApp at all. You will not try to give something unless you want to give some message to your relatives or your children or wife, I am coming and all, your message is not working and something like that. You want to talk, that's all. So likewise, it is, just me and mine gets attached everywhere and all. To get the me and mine in the sense, you will not have any issue with it. Even whether you get the forward or no forward, you are not going to forward it. And of course, no one will care about you also. This man is not sending any WhatsApp, useless. Uska kya hai, he doesn't have. He should have purchased a smartphone. He doesn't have a smartphone. He doesn't have 4G, 5G, this G, that G, and all. So it is like that. It goes off. It is basically that is a somnolent silence comes. The clear silence, because that's how, one small story was there when the person wanted to know what is Turiya. Sishya wanted to know what is Turiya. So he went and talked to his guru. He didn't answer. He looked at him and he was doing his own thing and he was into meditation and all. Yeah, after some time, he again went and asked him. And after 2-3 times having asked, he got fed up. What is the point of talking to this man? He is not responding. He should do something. And so he kept silent. Kept silent and he started, just meditating himself, what to do, this man is not talking. Let me at least think over, what could be Turiya like that, After some period of time, he also didn't ask his guru. When the guru came and they was asking, asked him, how what is that, you came and asked me something, I didn't tell you. No, I just thought, I myself will find out. And that is towards Turiya. That is the way you will have to go to Turiya. This is exactly in Kenopanishadam we said, if you think you know it, you don't know it. And if you think, you don't know, and then you have come to know about it. You are slowly on the path to know about it. It is like that. So the Turiya is a paradox. To understand that, the silence is this one and all, they will have to know that. Whereas, we will be seeing how this Turiya can be Nishadda, there is no silence, as well as it's Nata Brahma. That also we will see. There is one concept, how the Nata of, when the entire world was about to be created, the entire Kalpa has gone off, Pralaya has taken place. When the new Kalpa has to begin, there is a very huge, that is a vibration that is taking place. That is nothing but Omkara. That Omkara in its vibration, pristine pure vibration, that is Turiya. In fact, when we are doing the Omkara meditation and all, when you are focusing only on a Omkara meditation with your inhaling and exhaling, that takes you to that particular stage, you are able to totally focus and finally feel about it. So at that point of time, you are able to try to get into the cosmic energy. When you are able to try to cosmic energy, all your cells are in the unagitative mode. There is no agitation involved. They are all at the harmony with themselves, total synchronized with them. Because when you do the meditation and all the energy goes, they get charged. When all the question get charged, there is no question of any of our cells getting decayed or any of the deformed. Nothing happens. Even the cancer patients, they are all being cured, with the type of the meditation with 111 hertz frequency. Malta we have shared, because about 10 to 15 talks earlier in Kenopanishad. How, the underground, the vibration has been created, the room has been created, that the echoing sound, at that frequency, it just goes and touches because your mind doesn't think of anything else. And once you think, you don't have any disease, that is a placebo effect. Once that placebo effect comes, they say, even your diabetes will be cured, your pressure will be cured, everything will be cured if you do the meditation and you have the placebo, that you don't have it and it is already gone. But it will not come, because our hand immediately go to the tablet which has to be taken in the first. Because we do have some symptoms, it comes. Even a normal discomfort also we take it, it could be a possibility, that likewise because we have got to used to this world and because we are also into that, that is happening. But it will slowly come. And a lot of people, and they say they have given up medicine or they have reduced substantially their intake by developing this placebo effect by changing their attitudes. Once you change the attitudes, it creates the placebo effect. If you think, every discomfort, is it going to be this or is it going to be that? Because you have been fed with so much of information. They say even if you have a slight temperature, please immediately check up the temperature. The body has to adjust to this temperature. We are in a tropical country. The temperature is constantly changing. The body has got its mechanism to do it. But when we want to interfere with the body and sort of they reduce its mechanism, then body will become totally inept. You are making the body subdued to all your interactions, and there is no placebo effect. That's what they say. Placebo effect. Even if you see the vaccine when it is being tested, they test in two categories. One is the placebo category, another is the non-placebo category. The placebo category, mostly they don't even aware of what type of vaccine has been given to them because they are volunteer for that and what is the effect and all. Finally, they come to know this is the effect and all. The other one who really have because I may be getting I have got this infection, I may get cured. They do that. There they get all the chain reactions and all. They try to compare both. Because even if you take a medicine or if you're a doctor, it is only 15 to 20%, they have an effect. 80% is your placebo. In fact, they say it can go up to 100%. Most of your diseases could be cured by having 100% placebo effect by constantly meditating and getting the vibration and all. The same thing, because there was a big congregation of Buddhist monks somewhere in Tibet, because they have got Madhyamika, variety of Tibetan Buddhism is also there. There are about 7 monks. They have to, that is supposed to be the highest congregation. They were discussing about that. At that type of time, because there was particular, what is the clear light of the void, they were thinking about. That is the Turiya stage for them, clear light of the void. And when they were trying to discuss, and there is one famous Buddhist monk called Manjushri. I think you might have heard this name Manjushri in eastern India, particularly in Bengal and Assam and all. It's a very famous name. Normally, a lot of girls are named as Manjushri, but Manjushri is a monk, Buddhist monk. She was trying to, in that congregation, she wanted to, that monk, Manjushri, wanted to explain, how is the clear light of the void. He is explaining in so many words and all. There is one monk which is called Bimala Kirti, one monk was there. He didn't talk in this congregation at all. And only this Manjushri was talking, and after she closed her talk, there was a silence. No one else talked. And Bimala Kirti is supposed to be the chief monk, who is supposed to give the final verdict. What is that clear light of the void and how to be attained and all. He was simply keeping silent. And Manjushri asked, look, I have done so many things and all, and you have not answered, you have not opened your mouth. He said, because what am I to say, because clearly the silence is the clear light of the void. You have broken that. You are only talking about it. So, in fact, it is called Bimala Kirti Sutra. Bimala Kirti Sutra is what they call, they call it, the silence. In fact, you might be knowing there is a Vipassana, which is being advised even in the lot of universities, lot of learning places and all. That is basically to harmonize your thoughts to your complete focus to the cosmic thought. Therefore, your absorption, your reflection, and your elucidation of whatever you want to do it will be done to the highest purpose. In all research craft, it is being used. And Vipassana, in fact, they have advised in most of the universities we should have a Vipassana for the students because their agitation, their inability to decide, and they are flooded with so many options. They don't know which one to go for. The Vipassana will help. In the sense, they will have a clear light of the void, as Buddhist says, and you will be able to see that and go about it. That is what. That when the agitation and all those things, what is happening in the same mantra, Nivurte Sarva Dukkhanam Ishana Prabhu Avyayaha, because he is unchangeable, Prabhu, Vibhuhu, he knows everything, he is omniscient, omnipotent. But he is only available when you reach that stage. Till the stage he enables you to get the knowledge, and he is doing it in a different way. In Jagrata Sthana as Vaishvanara, he does it. In Tejasa, he does it, in the Tejasa only as he does it. Like Hiranyagarbha, what they call it, the Advaita. And finally in Pragya, the Sushupta Sthana, he does as a Pragya in the Pragya, where you have got the nescience and do it. It is called Ishvara in Advaita. So he does it everything in a different way. But coming out of all the three, is the Turiya stage. Where you get into that, because you are able to cross the Laya center. Once you come, because initially cause and effect is there in the Jagrata Sthana, and the same cause and effect continues in a different way. Only Degabhimana is not there, because you are not thinking about the body. Now your bodily sort of affection is not there. You are to that extent, Upaya, you come one grade higher. One stage higher you have come, one dimension, then you have got only latent impressions of the mind. Once you come to the Sushupta Sthana, even that is not there. You had a cause and effect in both, but once you come to the Sushupta Sthana, you have got only cause. Cause is, you get into the deep sleep and you are not aware of your own self, you lose yourself, but you had a blissful sleep because you don't have any absence of knowledge is there. It is as good as you got the indication of what the highest bliss is, that and all. Only cause is there. Even cause is not there in the Turiya stage. When cause is also not there, it's because till such time cause is there, you will have thinking something and knowing something and thinking about differently, as we have explained what is Advaita. Advaita is we see the situation, we take it as it is. And because like Durvasa has come and he has asked for the food, then Advaita what he said, how she will get the fuel, how she will get the rice, how she will cook, that was it. But when you see, the highest stage, when it is not the Advaita, when you don't have the duality in the sense thinking something like others, when you know exact reason for that, when you know you are capable of doing it, once you get into the highest power, the Turiya stage and going into the Paramatma, he gets fulfilled the hunger of entire world. So that happens at that point of time. So because that is what we come to know slowly and all. These possibilities has been told in terms of stories and experiences what has happened. So this also has got a great conceptual effect on our meditation as well as our everyday life in elevating ourselves in a new dimension. And we can also get all our desires, diseases cured and desires fulfilled for a very, very great purpose. not for selfish purpose. With this, we will try to conclude today's session, and I think because it is basically we are continuing with that, because we have not covered any new ground, but we have only fortified the earlier ground. So now onwards, we will be going, with a little more, at a faster pace, covering the ground floor. We have got about 9 mantras to explain what is this Turiya. The Brahmadrishtam or Karika itself has got 9 mantras. So we will be seeing how the mantras have been beautifully taken to a different dimension by all the acharyas, particularly Madhvacharya. That also we will see. With this, I will try to conclude, and maybe we will have a small meditation, which we have missed last 2 years, last two sessions. We will have it. I think I will try to conclude with the Sahana Bhavatu, and immediately after that, we will have this small meditation for about 5-10 minutes. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we will just start this meditation. In 2 minutes, I will just arrange the music for that. You can just focus on your breathing, inhaling, and the breath going out of your nostrils. Just be as comfortable as possible. Observe your cool stream of air getting into your nostrils. Just feel the warmth of your breath exhaling, going out of your nostrils. Just feel the blissful brightness in your mind. Perfect symphony of your breathing should fold you totally sync with the cosmos. Slowly feel the vibration. Let's have focus on our heart. Let's breathe slowly from our heart. Where the Paramatma is residing, the inverted lotus, very sublime spot. We all have the coherence of emotions in the heart. Slowly take your palms towards your heart and keep it on your heart. Feel the wholesome bliss spreading out of your heart. Slowly raise your palms towards your eye. Place it gently on your eyes and feel the warmth. As and when you are comfortable, as and when you are okay, just take both your arms, your palms towards the position of Namaste and open your eyes slowly without any disturbance to your position. Slowly open your eyes. Let this blissful feeling continue for the day and through the week till we meet next. So wish you all a wonderful week ahead. With that, we will conclude today's session. And if you have anything to say or suggest, we can have it. Otherwise, we will have it closed. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sahaviriyam karavavahai
Sriram.
tejasvinamavithamastuma vishvidavahai. Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you. See you next week. Thank you. Nana.
Hey, where are you, man? Hey,
Yeah.
why did you come and disturb in between here? You should have participated in Upanishad class. Huh?
Upanishad.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Nana.
Yeah.
Call into record ಮಾಡ್ತಾದ್ರೆ.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Class ಮುಗ್ದೈತಾ?
ನಂಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದಾ?
ಅವನು ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ.
Okay, all the best.
After Diwali, Nana.
After
Diwali, class school opens offline.
Okay.
Yes, go.
Bye.
Okay.